Hey friends, it's Stephanie, your host here, just popping in. I wanted to let you know that I offer one-on-one body mapping wellness coaching sessions. So if you're a musician who's been dealing with tension, pain, limitation, or just sense that something feels a little off when you play, I want you to know that you're not the only one, and there are resources out there to help support you and help you thrive. These one-on-one body mapping coaching sessions are specifically designed for musicians, helping you rebuild your relationship with your body so you can get back to doing what you love with more ease, more freedom, and less fear. Body mapping changed the way I experience music both on and off the stage, and it's one of the greatest tools out there for sustainable artistry to last a lifetime. You can schedule a free consultation using the link in the show notes. And now, on to the show.
I just remember my whole childhood thinking I'm so alone, like no one gets this and I don't know how to explain it. And now here I am at 32, like listening to people's stories and realizing, wow, I really was not the only one going through this. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be able to give people hope, not just through my work here, but also through my music.
You're listening to Artistry with Heart, a musician's wellness podcast. I'm Stephanie Lynn Bernards. On today's episode, we're joined by Wisconsin-based singer-songwriter Allison Sky, an artist known for her heartfelt storytelling, soulful voice, and unwavering resilience. Her music blends raw vulnerability with timeless melodies, creating songs that deeply resonate with her audience. Allison's journey has been shaped by a long and complex battle with chronic illness, and her story is one of perseverance, healing, and rediscovery, inspiring creatives and listeners alike to move past fear, trust their voice, and show up fully. In honor of Lyme Disease Awareness Month this May, we're honored to share Allison's story as an overcomer of this often misunderstood and misdiagnosed illness, a powerful reminder that healing and purpose can coexist. Allison, I'm so excited to have you on the show. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's going to be so cool to hear your story.
So, when I was young, a child, I mean, probably 4 or 5, I remember having symptoms as a kid, and I didn't really know what it was. I just thought, "Well, this is how I am," and I had a lot of stomach issues, had a lot of anxiety and depression as a kid, and there would be times where my symptoms would really flare up, and in those instances, that's when I would be going into the doctor, and they'd run tests, and it would usually end in, "Well, we can't find anything. Your levels look great. It's probably a virus. You're just going to have to wait it out." So that cycle went on for a number of years. And then when I was 18, I would say that would be kind of the pinnacle of the symptoms really got a lot worse. And I probably missed about a month of school my senior year in high school. I remember calling up my mom and asking her to come get me, and I ended up going to the doctor, and we spent the whole entire day there and just, like, doing a bunch of different tests, and I thought, "Maybe today I will find out what is wrong," and nothing. After all the testing, they couldn't find anything other than I had really low iron and anxiety, but I knew that wasn't the root cause of all of my symptoms because it was just all over, and that's the thing about Lyme, it doesn't really stay in one particular body system, it can go everywhere, and for me, that is how it was. It wasn't just physical pain in my stomach, it was neurological, it was in my joints, everywhere, and so I didn't get my answer that day, but it took a few more years. At age 23, that's when I was given a card for someone in my area practitioner that treated Lyme, and that is something that I had come across a few times and thought, "Maybe that's what I have," and, I had gone to different doctors, and I'd actually been tested for Lyme, and I never got a positive result, and that's another thing about Lyme that a lot of people don't know is the blood testing is not 100% accurate, so just because you get a negative result doesn't mean that you don't have it. Anyways, I went to this appointment and found out that it was in fact Lyme, chronic Lyme the entire time. For me, it was very validating, even though that wasn't necessarily great news. Like, yay, I have this. But it was very validating for me because I had a name for something that I've been dealing with for so long and I didn't know how to explain it to people. Like, I didn't know how to explain what it was that I was going through. And it's a very isolating disease. And I ended up doing an alternative treatment with this practitioner here in Wisconsin, and it's called LymeStop. I did the treatment, and within 3 months, I went from 30 infections down to six. And then I think it was 7 or 8 months that I had cleared everything. So I started off with a lot of different things. This treatment, I know I would not be here if I had not found it. And I'm so very, very grateful for Dr. Ben. He's the one that treated me, and Dr. Tony Smith is the one that developed the method. So grateful for both of them. They're the only two practitioners in the US that do this treatment. And since then, about 3 years after I went through the treatment, I actually started working for Dr. Ben here in Wisconsin. So I've been working for the LymeStop clinic here for about 7 years now. So I've met a lot of patients who had or have similar stories to mine. And I just remember my whole childhood thinking I'm so alone, like no one gets this and I don't know how to explain it. And now here I am at 32, like listening to people's stories and realizing, wow, I really was not the only one going through this. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be able to give people hope, not just through my work here, but also through my music. And music has kind of weaved its way throughout my story too. It's been my coping mechanism and my way of expressing myself when I can't verbally explain to people what is going on in my head.
Can you explain to people what Lyme disease is in your own words? And can you explain some of the symptoms that came up for you? And then I have so many more questions about how this impacted your life, and you already kind of described them. But can you just explain to those of us that don't understand what is Lyme disease in your words, in your experience?
It's a cocktail of infections passed from the bug to you. But because your immune system becomes so suppressed from that, you also pick up other things along the way. Things like Epstein Barr, parasites, a whole host, candida, a lot of gut related things. So my symptoms, I mean, I had so many. There was a form that I had to fill out when I initially came to be treated here, and I had them all marked, like almost all of them marked, and it was 2 full pages. But I would say my top symptoms were anxiety, depression, brain fog, joint pain, just a lot of digestive issues, and I would have like this burning sensation kind of where my liver was. I didn't really know at that time when I was a kid where my liver was, but that's where it was. The burning sensation and just feeling weak and unmotivated really because I was so tired all the time even as a kid.
And did you say that it like you struggled with a lot of anxiety and depression as a result of Lyme disease? Is that are those symptoms of Lyme disease?
Correct. Yep, those can be symptoms of Lyme. So when I ended up getting treated, I found out that I had multiple different infections in my brain causing that. And I think I always had like a gut feeling that there was something else. Like personally, I think that anxiety is caused by something you just don't just have it. I mean, sure you can be fearful about something, but when you're having anxiety to the point of like panic attacks, I really feel like it can be infection based, toxin based, which I had both. And another whole layer of my journey, I dealt with mold exposure after I went through the Lyme treatment, and that also can cause a lot of anxiety and depression as well. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but sometimes, like if you're someone that has had a panic attack, you're not necessarily thinking about something that's making you fearful. Like I wasn't thinking about something that was making me fearful, but all of a sudden you start having this like in your chest, you can't breathe and you start feeling like panic, but you don't even know what's causing it. Like that was kind of the sensation that I would get a lot. Now, of course, there were other things that I was fearful about. And I don't know necessarily if that came from Lyme or not, but I will say I don't experience that kind of anxiety anymore.
That's really illuminating because I also have bouts of anxiety, and I know a lot of people that do. And it's interesting to think about it not only from a psychological standpoint, but from a physiological standpoint, and trying to look at all of the factors that might be causing it as well. There is so much to be gained from mixing both worlds of, the psycho, spiritual, emotional, it's therapeutic route, medical field. It's like they're so intertwined. And so it's a really interesting perspective. You mentioned LymeStop treatment was life changing, and that so Dr. Ben and Dr. Tony really helped you so much through this. So, how did you find LymeStop, and what is the treatment like? How does it differ from going to doctors and having them tell you nothing's wrong with you to all of a sudden finding this cure?
It's an all natural treatment. Dr. Tony Smith found that there are certain points on the body, kind of similar to an acupuncture point, but these specific points correlate to the Lyme and all the co-infections. And the treatment is using magnets on these specific points and also on top of the head. So it creates a circuit and it brings this heightened awareness to your brain so that your body is able to identify where that specific infection is. So prior to being treated in this way, your brain doesn't know that you have Lyme really. It hides from your immune system because otherwise it would be getting rid of it. So, like if you get a cold, you eventually get rid of it because your immune system sees it and it gets rid of it. So, with Lyme, the reason why it isn't going away is because it's hiding. And this treatment is showing your body where it is. And after you do the treatment, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for your body to detox the infections. And then you come back for a follow up visit. And because I was local, I came back for a few. I can't even imagine. I tell people that I don't think I would be here if I had not found this treatment. I don't have any other words. I'm just really grateful to be alive.
Wow, this is so interesting. So I am curious about how this all has woven in with your musical life. You have an EP coming out in May, and I would love to hear about how all of this health journey has shaped your musical life and how healing your body has spoke to your musicality and your creativity. Tell us everything.
I've played piano and I played flute in grade school and sang for forever. So that's always been a part of my life. And I started writing songs when I was maybe like 9 or 10. And it really started off as piano songs. I really liked writing instrumental songs. And then as I got into high school, I started writing lyrics and I just loved it. But I feel like I haven't really been able to pursue it to the degree that I wanted until the last few years. So even though music is a way I process things, I wasn't necessarily always able to songwrite, especially during those really difficult years when I was dealing with the really bad anxiety and the brain fog. There's just no way that I could process to write a song. But it really has shaped the songs that are going to be on this EP because they're all about overcoming. And I wouldn't have these songs had I not gone through what I went through. And I really wanted to turn the situation around, turn the thing that I thought was going to end me and turn it into something positive and hopeful, especially for other people that may be going through something. It doesn't have to be Lyme disease, it could be something else. But I do think that chronic illness has really increased in our country. But yeah, I really wanted it to be something positive. And it's not going to be the music that I always write because I write other kinds of music too that isn't related to my journey in that way. But has really shaped my lyrics and how I write the song. I want it to be more positive. And I would say in high school when I was writing songs, it would be more negative. And it has taken me this long to be able to take the negativity and turn it into something positive.
Well, that's a theme for all of us. I think that's a journey we all take, right? Things happen to us, and then we have to find a way to either evolve the hardship or trauma that we've experienced into something positive or continue to let us be held down by it. So I think there's definitely space for all of it. I mean, the person you were in high school, you didn't have answers for your illness and you were severely depressed and had anxiety, and all the doctors told you there was nothing wrong with you, right? So I think that there is space to write music that reflects that because that also speaks to people who are where you were. And then to have this sort of revival moment with your music and have your EP reflect what you've learned through your experiences is such a beautiful transformation. And to have space for both of them, I think is so important. Do you feel like there are any like themes that are most prominent in your current EP that listeners could be listening for?
So one of the lines from my song Hard Times is hard times change me for the better. I would say that's one of the main themes is looking back and realizing that some of the most difficult things that I've gone through have shaped who I am and made me stronger, made me smarter, given me the gift of being able to meet all these other people and just things that I wouldn't have had if I had not gone through that. Because if you can't do that, then you will get stuck in a victim mindset. And that is somewhere that I was for a very, very long time.
Understandably, though, I mean, that's such a hard place to be going to all these different medical professionals and having everyone tell you that there's nothing wrong with you. That's, like, debilitating. So I love that you're really bringing in this theme of how hard times make us better and that they're just if you keep your eyes open and stay open to the source, to God, to whatever being energy that you feel is loving and benevolent and out for your best and highest good, if we can keep staying open to that energy and believe it wants the best for us and wants to help us be the best versions of ourselves, we can really take any hardship and transform it. And it sounds like you really have. So I'm just curious, you were saying that, all these hard things have given you something really beautiful. Can you point to one part of your journey, some hardship that has given you something unique that you wouldn't have had otherwise? Maybe you even consider is a superpower of yours now?
Well, I would say Lyme in general has made me pretty resilient, specifically now when it comes to pursuing music as a career. It can be really difficult to keep pushing, pushing, pushing when there's a lot of rejection involved. So I think that having gone through that, I have a resilience that I would not have had otherwise. Like I just keep going because what else is there? Like I have to. And I don't want to give up. Like I don't feel like I give up very easily.
That's beautiful, and I would never wish Lyme on anyone, or hardship on anyone, right? But I do think that resilience that we all get from going through something so challenging does give us that resilience if we allow it, right? It's not like hard things happen equals being strong and resilient. It's a whole journey, a whole growth pattern. And I don't know. I even feel like maybe it's like a privilege to even want to heal, you know? I mean, I think that it is such a vacuum.
I would say I got really stuck in that victim mindset. It wasn't that I didn't wanna feel better, I did, but I didn't know who I was without the Lyme. And so when I got better, I didn't know how to handle that because my mind was still there, but my body was not. So that I think is why it has taken me so long to really get back into music and say, I'm gonna release these songs because I was just still stuck in that place.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have questions about also musicianship and motherhood and how that all fuses together. And before we jump into a little bit more of your EP, I would love to just hear a little bit about, as a new mom, how has your healing journey and motherhood influenced your music? Has motherhood changed how you view your musicianship? And if so, how? Has it changed how you view your healing? Just share anything you want to say about that.
I feel like my son has really inspired me to get out there and just give my dream a shot because I just didn't have the same confidence. I have more confidence now because of him, and I don't know how to really put that into words, but I want him to be able to look back and say that I really tried, and when you try, I think that you will see the reward eventually if you don't give up. I did really battle postpartum depression after giving birth for about a year. So I do have a song on the EP that came from that experience called Dear Life. I feel like just overall musically, he's given me more confidence. Like if I start feeling nervous about performing in front of people, I try, if he's there, even if he's not there, I try and think about him because I know he's not sitting there judging me and I shouldn't worry about other people judging me. But just focusing on him has helped me be more confident.
That's beautiful. Can you remember a line from Dear Life that would help us connect even further that postpartum experience and what you were going through at that time?
One of the lines from the song says, "One step at a time is really brave." And I won't say that I handled that entire year amazing because I wasn't myself, but I had to just try and take it one day at a time because I didn't know when I was gonna return to feeling like Allison.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to listen for that when we're checking out your EP. That's powerful. I love your story because you have struggled so much with chronic illness throughout your life, and now you're on the stage playing music that you've written from your own experiences, and you have an EP that's coming out. This is all really, really cool. And I just am wondering, for musicians who experience any kind of performance anxiety, right? I know that you were talking about how the anxiety that you've experienced might have been caused from medical issues or the Lyme disease itself, but many folks struggle from performance anxiety or just the inner critic that comes up when you're about to go on stage or you're about to share your art or craft with an audience, whether it's an audience of one, five, or 5,000. I'm wondering if you could speak to your experience with the inner critic or performance anxiety, how it shows up for you, and then how you work with it and work through it and get to the other side.
Oh, it's definitely there. It's something that I've really had to work against, and it's one of the reasons, again, why it's taken me so long to start pursuing this. I would say the more I've performed, the less I wouldn't say it's completely gone, but it's not as strong. But it really depends on the environment. Like if it's somewhere that I play at a lot of restaurants and wineries and things like that. And if it's somewhere that I've been already, then I don't feel as nervous because I feel comfortable. I've already been here. I know what this is like. I know the employees and stuff that work here. But if it's a new situation or there's more people, then yeah, anxiety can definitely kick in. And I try and just focus on music and just focus on enjoying the experience of singing and performing because I really love to sing. And if no one else were there, I would sing, with all of my heart. And so that's what I try and focus on if I start feeling like that. Cause it's really easy for me to get in my head as I'm sitting there singing, like looking at individual people and start thinking, oh my gosh, what are they thinking about me? Like, do they not like the song? And all these different thoughts that start popping up in your head that you can't always stop, but you have to think of something else. Like for me, that's really just focusing on, wow, it is such a blessing for me to be able to do this because 10 years ago, I couldn't even get through an entire song without shaking. And so to be able to be here and share music that I've written with people and see it resonate with people, like that's a huge gift. So I need to focus on that. And maybe whatever music I'm singing isn't for every single person in the room. It may just be for one person. Not everybody will come up to me after I'm done playing and say, "Nice job, you did really amazing, blah, blah, blah." It may just be one person that comes up and says, "Wow, the lyric from that song really meant a lot to me because this is what I've been going through for the last few months." And that is worth it to me.
Yeah, it's so true. Thank you for saying that, Allison. I think it's so easy to get caught up in the the conceptual group of people and what they think of you and forgetting that if we connect with one person, we've made all the difference. And also just like your healing journey is such a testament to all of the depth that you bring with your music. So I just think it's really, really special what you share through your music, no matter where it is, and to remember gratitude first and foremost for being able to do this at all. It's so funny, the slippery slope of being like, wow, like, I'm so grateful that I get to do music for a career and I get to share music and play music and write music. I'm in a place in the world where I am able to do these things and then slip into people don't like my music and people aren't liking why aren't people buying my album and why aren't people, sponsoring this, that, with the other thing, and it's so easy to just forget the gratitude component, right? That, like, we are here and being alive is a miracle and doing what we love is a miracle, and to keep grounding ourselves in, like, whatever we can do to express that gratitude through our art, like, that's the receiving end too. That's the abundance part, is the fact that you get to give as well as receive, So that's super cool.
And I kind of wrote about this. I do a weekly email where I really just share parts of my journey and what I'm learning and what I'm trying to implement into my life. And actually, last week's email is kind of about that, like looking at my calendar and feeling, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. I have so much. I have this, and this day. How am I going to do all of this? And I don't know where I've read this concept before, so I don't know who it came from, but the whole concept of I get to instead of I have to, like, oh, I have to get through this performance. Oh my gosh, nobody's listening to me. I get to be here and I'm getting paid to perform, whether someone likes it or not. I'm still getting paid to be here, and that's a gift. So I try to do that if I'm feeling overwhelmed. Again, it really is a gift. I I didn't know if I would make it to 30. It really is a gift that I'm here and I'm getting to share my favorite thing with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you get to raise a little one and raise him to love music and just continue to share music through all the experiences you had. Your life is definitely a testament to the healing work and the power of it. And that's so cool. You chose to feature your original song, Move Out, and it's on your EP, Behind the Smile. That's going to be out when this episode is released. And you shared a little bit about it earlier. Tell us why you chose this piece to share for listeners and just anything else that we can know so we can understand you better.
Well, the song is really about I shortened the title, but really it could be "Move Out of Your Own Way," and that has been another recurring theme in my life. It took me a long time to realize that it was me standing in my own way, not someone else, not what someone else said, not how much money I have or don't have, because I could make excuses about everything, and I did for music. Like I wish I would have started doing this sooner. And of course I had some legitimate reasons for why I didn't when I was younger, but there were points in my journey where I could have and I didn't because I let my internal thoughts keep me from taking action. And I just feel like that is something that a lot of people do that maybe they don't realize. And it's easy to be the victim and say, well, it's everyone else and it's not me. And that's why I'm not getting ahead in life because the system is against me or whatever it is. So that's just something that I think that a lot of people deal with, and I want to share that, and hopefully they can see in my song, because I am singing from my own personal journey. Maybe they can see glimpses of themselves in that, and maybe it'll help bring awareness to maybe some of their own thoughts that are keeping them back from the life that they want to live.
That's beautiful. Is there a line that really encapsulates that from Move Out?
I mean, the main line of the chorus, "Move out of your own way," that is really encapsulates the whole thing. But the beginning of the song, "You think you got the short end of the stick, that life would change if your past could just be fixed."
Think you got the short end of the stick, then life would change if your past could just be fixed.
That's the whole victim mindset. Like, if this wouldn't have happened to me, then I wouldn't be here. And that was my mindset. Like, if I hadn't had to deal with Lyme, I could have started pursuing my career at age 20, and I could have been way further along than where I am now. But that's not how life played out. And that doesn't mean I'm behind or that I failed or anything like that. But being stuck in that mindset is really what held me back.
That's so good, Allison. I think we all need to hear that, regardless of what level that's at. I think that remembering that when we get out of our own way and really allow life to believe that life is for us and that life is happening for us and not to us, it shifts our perspective so much. And I love that you wrote a whole song about that. And you also chose to share that resource with our people in the Artistry with Heart community as well, a PDF of different ways to move out of your own way. Is that right?
Yeah, it's really a way to bring awareness to what is it that's holding you back. So just thinking about what is it that you want to achieve, and then what are those inner thoughts that you immediately have when you're thinking about that. So if I'm thinking about I really want to pursue music as a career, I don't want to just do it as a hobby. Immediately my mind could go to, well, you're not good enough. Like there's already 5,000 other people trying to do that. You don't even need to try. Like you're not in the same league as them or whatever. And writing that down and then combating that with action steps. Like, you know what? That's actually not true. And just because someone else is doing something doesn't mean you can't do it, because whatever you put out creatively is going to be unique to you and the world needs it. And even if you're not famous, because I know that's something that a lot of artists struggle with, and I have too. Like you see other people on social media and you think, well, I'm not important unless I have this many followers. And it's really easy to get sucked into that, especially if you're promoting your music on social media. You kind of have to be on there. It's really easy to just see what everyone else is doing and feel like, well, I must be behind. Like, what's wrong with my music? I'm invisible. All these different lies that will pop into your head. I've chosen to kind of write those down and bring that awareness to them and then combat them with action steps. What can I do? What can I do about this? Like when I first started performing a few years ago publicly, I didn't have a sound system. How am I going to do this? And that kind of held me back. And so I didn't write this down at that time, but I wrote it down when I was making this guide, and because I didn't realize I was doing this. Like this all kind of came organically. Somehow I just started working against these thoughts that I was dealing with. And so, anyways, in the guide, you can write down whatever your thought is that's holding you back, and then write down a way that you can actively work against that. So, in my case, I talked to my husband and I said, "Can we get a sound system?" And I don't know why I was afraid to do that. I was like afraid all these different things that I was fearful about doing, asking someone else like, what do you charge to play music around here? I was terrified of doing that. I just chose to do it. I forced myself to do it. And I still actively have to do that with things. Booking gigs, I don't always feel like doing it, but I choose, okay, today I'm going to send out 5 emails to the 5 different venues. It doesn't have to be something huge, it can be something small like that. And those small little steps are what start to snowball and create impact. So it does take time. It's not like your life is going to change overnight, but I'm just starting to see some of the, impact of what I've been doing over the last 2.5 years.
Love all of that, Allison, and I needed to hear that today. I always come back to, well, why did I decide to do this podcast? I'm a musician. What am I doing? This doesn't make any sense. And then, just remembering that, like, because you always hear what you need to hear from people who are out there doing it too, and I think that it's really easy to get stuck in the mentality of never enough or scarcity or everyone else has it together and I don't, or what am I even doing? And it's so helpful to just hear that like other people who are out there struggle with that, but they're not being held back by it. And that's the whole point of this show is to show people that we all have these unhelpful thoughts and beliefs that we're actively overcoming so that we can pursue our craft and be a presence in the world. And so it's all about naming it and then moving past it. And I love that you created a whole pamphlet for people to work through that because we need everyone's unique individual voice. We need everyone's artistic craft. We need everyone, if they feel even a slight inkling about being a creative person in the world, to pursue it because we all have this unique fingerprint that is so irreplaceable. And we don't need those unhelpful voices to hold us back anymore. So thank you so much for that. You may have already said this, but is there any message or insight that you would offer to maybe 20-year-old you and someone who might have been where you were then?
Don't wait. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until you have all the gear and all the stuff that makes you look aesthetic on Instagram. Like, don't wait for that because it doesn't matter. I mean, I didn't really have anything when I started performing a couple years ago. It's so easy to compare yourself to where someone else is at and say, I can't do that. And then you just sit around and wait. Or another mindset that I got stuck in is, well, if someone would just discover me, if someone would just discover me, then this would happen. And that's, I think, something that we pick up a lot from entertainment, movies and stuff, or even social media, that if someone just discovers you, then your dream's going to happen. But that isn't how it works. You really have to put in the work. Like, I have to reach out to the venues to get the gigs. I can't just wait for someone to discover me singing in my bathroom. Like, I have to put myself out on social media in order for people to hear me. I have to put out my songs so they know what my music is. So you don't have to wait for someone to validate you and tell you that you're good enough to put it out. Just start putting it out. And then over time, you're going to look back and say, oh, that wasn't really that great. But it doesn't matter because you continue to keep growing as you keep putting out. Like, I am not a producer. I'm not a techie person at all. Like, it gives me anxiety. I work with a producer with my music, but I'm learning things on how to record my own vocals. But you don't have to wait to be an expert on something in order to pursue it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Allison. Like I said earlier, I needed to hear that and I needed to hear that again. Don't wait. It's beautiful. Yeah. Well, Allison, this has been so awesome. Just want to close by hearing about how people can get in touch with you and your work.
So my website is allisonskymusic.com. And then all of my social media handles, I'm on all of them pretty much. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Allison Sky Music. And I really do updates on all of those. I try to stay pretty active. I play a lot locally and regionally throughout Wisconsin, sometimes into Minnesota.
Well, I can't wait to see how far you go, Allison. And I feel like this is just the beginning, and you've done it all along, all at the same time. And you're right on time. And I think everything that you're doing is just really going to impact lives so profoundly. So thank you so much for sharing your story. It's been so much fun to chat with you. So thank you for sharing your experience. And to listeners out there, if this episode resonated with you and you are someone who struggles with chronic illness or Lyme disease, please reach out to Allison and she, I'm sure, would be willing to give you some pointers, some encouragement, and maybe even connect you with some of the remedies that helped her get to where she is today. But, here at Artistry with Heart, this is a supportive community that wants to remind you that you are not alone, no matter what it is that you're going through, and that your unique creative musical voice matters wherever you're at on your journey. And we are here to support that journey. Make sure to check out our Patreon linked in the show notes as well for deeper conversations and more wellness resources and ways to nurture your artistry and well being. And also just liking and subscribing to the show does wonders for us. So thank you so much for keeping this show alive by being a part of our audience and our community. Until next time, please be you, stay inspired, stay on the path, move out of your own way, and don't wait. And now the full version of Move Out.
Think you got the short and other stick. That life will change if you pass good, just be fixed. Don't let those memories rule over your mind.